For more on all of this, we're joined now by retired Lieutenant General Richard Newton. We really want to get back to this breaking news we had at the start of the show. This rocket attack at a Ukrainian train station. Civilians are actually waiting to get out. They had been given immediate evacuation orders in that region. Does this show a sign that the war is intensifying in the east?
Well, good morning, Adrienne. You know, America's waking up to a new chapter of this war, and that is, as Allison used the word barbaric, that's exactly what it is. This is not just indiscriminate bombing of civilians, but this is pinpoint targeting of civilians, not only, women and children and elderly and so forth, and they're trying to flee the war zone. And so as Kyiv is now, again, Russia is leaving the battlefield around Kyiv. They've given up taking the capital. They're going to reset their forces up in Belarus and Russia. Then they're going to reset for a new offensive in the coming weeks in the eastern part of Ukraine. Again, bids very, very poorly for what will be the next several weeks or months for the Ukrainian people. But yes, it's a new chapter. They're going to ratchet up the terror. And across our TVs and our social media, we're going to see more and more atrocities against the Ukrainian civilian populace.
Well, it's looking very similar to what we're seeing just outside of the capital of Kyiv. Reports of bodies found in the streets. Obviously, this has become a major news globally. Do you think that the U.S. will change its approach, considering all of these attacks on civilians?
I think the U.S. and NATO must change their approach. We need to ratchet up our across the board of national security interests in terms of economic, finance, diplomatic, international stage, on the political stage, and certainly military. We need to be providing Ukrainian, from a military standpoint, much more offensive arms, just not the defensive arms. I mean, talking about MiG-29s, very effective medium and long range air defense systems. We provided in President Biden's request and pass through of $800 million, if you recall, several weeks or so ago, of 100 Switchblade drones. We need to provide them thousands of Switchblade drones and other unmanned aerial vehicles or drones capabilities. And so now that the chapter has changed, Putin is up in the ante in terms of atrocities. It appears that Ukrainians, the military, especially on Ukraine, is winning. There's momentum, although the atrocities that we're seeing unfold right now, literally in front of our screen. But there is an opportunity, I believe, for Ukraine to win here. We need to support them in a winning strategy, not just a defensive strategy.
As we mentioned, the UN removing Russia from the Human Rights Council, at least suspending them. What impact does that really have?
I think that's significant because, like we mentioned just before, all elements of national power need to be put into play here, and the international call through the UN, through the General Assembly, and a 93-24 vote forcing Russia off the Human Rights Council is significant, if not in terms of its effect, but in terms of on the world stage. And so we need to make sure, not only in the United States, not only in NATO, but throughout the world, that Putin is a pariah and that Russia needs to be, again, singled out as the invader. And all efforts should be placed against him and his efforts to, again, take Ukraine. But it ought to be not only in terms of the political dynamic, the military that we just talked about, but economic sanctions as well. I would advocate to the president and also to the NATO powers that we ban all oil and gas imports from Russia and so forth. Now, that's going to be, okay, Newton, I got that. That's going to be a pretty hefty lift there, not only against Russia, but for the European people as well. But now's the time, especially as the offensive efforts of Ukraine, from Russia's standpoint, will be reset in the eastern part of Ukraine, the Donbass region, and let's not forget the south area in Mariupol and so forth. But now's the time to keep that momentum and turn that tide so that we have a winning strategy against Putin and support President Zelensky as much as we possibly can.
General Newton, thanks for your time and have a great weekend. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.